So let's introduce Misty.
So absolutely. So super delighted to have Misty here. Misty Wrigley Miller is a lifelong horsewoman, and she's not only an award-winning broadcast journalist, but also one of the few women in the world to compete with a team of horses in the sport of combined driving. More on that in a little bit, I'm sure. Amongst her many equestrian achievements, she is, and her American saddlebred, HS Baby Steps, won an incredible 4 championships. And so she's also the owner of the Wrigley Media Group. So welcome very much, Misty. You're kind of at both ends of the spectrum there, right? You're a champion equestrian and you're also in the media business. How did you figure out that you were going to go in these 2 directions?
It was the way I was raised, because from my mother's side, I got gum, baseball, and Arabian horses. And from my stepfather's side, I got television, news, and Walter Cronkite. So I had both of these great elements in my life growing up.
So, right, if you've ever been to Chicago, if you've ever been to Wrigley Field, well, that's who she's talking about. That was her grandfather that did that. And also the Wrigley gum fortune. So Misty grew up with entrepreneurs, with people that were involved in their communities, and she's giving back now. She's keeping the family tradition going, which I think is awesome.
It's very important for me.
You're obviously a successful entrepreneur, and you have a media group. So what exactly does your media group do?
We produce all sorts of content, long format, short format, over several different platforms. I like to say that we're problem solvers, and whatever the client needs, whether it be a training video for a Toyota, or when Drew Barrymore needed a scene in her new movie of a small Kentucky home, that we provide solutions. And we have an amazing array of talented, we call ourselves media mavericks, because we kind of burst through all the boundaries in order to solve our clients' problems.
So who is a typical client? Do you work with any small businesses, or are they typically people that are in the upper range?
We work with people in all business ranges. We do work for nonprofit groups, which was especially important during the COVID months, which we're still in and beginning to see an uptick, all the way to large networks. We're currently working on a couple of projects for HGTV.
Oh, wow. That's
so
great.
What is the biggest struggle that these entrepreneurs have when it comes to this kind of media exposure and content?
I think it's getting their message, the correct message, through to the correct audience. And that's what we really try and help our clients develop, because they'll come to us maybe, just not really knowing what they want their message to be. So we really take a lot of pride in working with our clients very closely and crafting that message and make sure that it gets out on the correct media platforms.
How does the process of deciding that work?
Normally, the client will meet with a person on our creative team, and they just work through that message. A recent example was a friend of ours owns a distillery, and they wanted to get the message out that they were pivoting from producing bourbon to producing hand sanitizer, which was a great thing to do for the community, and they wanted to get their message out. Wow. So we went in and following all the COVID protocols, and I'm really grateful to all of our producers who went out in the community, properly masked and sanitized. And we had T-shirts made, lights, camera, sanitize. but to work with that company to say, hey, these are really tough times, and we're pivoting our business to let people know that we're now producing hand sanitizer. So we did a great video and put it up on their social media, and it sort of went viral.
I didn't know that hand sanitizer and distilleries were closely related. So I guess next time.
Well, hand sanitizer is made of alcohol a lot of times. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean.
But I mean, people, I mean, it's great that so many people repurposed.
Yeah.
To try to supply Americans with what they needed to be healthy and safe.
Yeah.
And it's great that you could get the word out, right?
And don't drink your hand sanitizer.
Yeah, but you brought up that it went viral on social media. So I'm just interested, what platform of social media? Was it Instagram? Was it Facebook? And do you know why it went viral? Or was there anything you did that helped it go viral?
I think, we put it on the Facebook platform and on their social media. And I'm not sure if it eventually made it to YouTube. Sorry, I don't have that. But I think that what helped it go viral was not only the message, which was great. Hey, sorry, your bourbon's on hold, but right now hand sanitizer is more important. But how they did it, why they did it. And I like to think that our shooters created such compelling video images. It's in a very short amount of time. We call it snackable content, which I'm from an age, I used to think snackable content was a bag of Cheetos. But
right. I've never heard snackable content before.
Snackable content is, what's so popular on social platforms now, that you just have such a short amount of time to deliver, to number one, catch the viewer's attention and get that message across. And because I've got some brilliant younger people working for me, they get that. They understand how to get that message, grabbed and understood and get a reaction.
So what would be some must-have platforms that content creators should absolutely have as part of their content strategy today, you would say?
Absolutely. The Facebook, YouTube, and a very strong, their own private, strong web presence on their own website. And we do a lot of work with people developing their website and that distribution, getting it out to their audience.
You've been in the media world, but you've also been in the equestrian world too. And so you're a champion in the sport of combined driving. So I guess I never really think of horses and driving in the same sentence, but I guess it's a pretty interesting sport, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's a very challenging sport. It's a 3-day event and in 3 different phases. So it takes a lot of courage and stamina to get through the 3 days of competition. But one of the things I really, really enjoy about it is that in equestrian sport, men and women compete equally. We're not divided into groups, and amateurs and professionals compete against each other. So it really is, just true sportsmanship at its most basic level, true horsemanship at its basic level. And I think because I was raised in equestrian sport, I never really gave much thought to, as a woman, I can do this or I can't do this. And when I found myself, I'm one of 6 women who compete internationally in the sport of 4-in-hand driving. And people say, don't you find that odd? And I don't, because no one ever told me that I couldn't.
So why do you think there's not as many women participating in the sport?
I think because there's a sort of an image that, okay, there are 4 strong horses and women aren't strong enough. They don't have the stamina. and they certainly can't keep it up, that level of competition for over 3 days. And we absolutely can. And I'm not even a young woman, but it's the proper training. It's your mental fitness, it's your physical fitness, it's your relationship with your animals, it's the becoming the first woman to win a gold medal in that sport. I think is, I've hopefully I've set an example for other women, saying not only can you compete, but you can compete at the top of your game.
Thing is horses drawing a cart, right? And it can be 2, 3, or 4 horses drawing a cart, and you have to control all those horses from the cart. Is that right?
Yes, I drive 4 horses put to a carriage.
And are these special carriages? Does everybody, have the same carriage? Is there like a standard, or is part of the event different carriages that are decorated or ornate?
Yeah, well, we use 2 different types of carriages for the different events. One carriage is very old fashioned, and it looks like something you'd see in Downton Abbey or something like that. But it's very, very technical. And then our marathon carriage that we do, the cross country, we have to navigate obstacles over about 23 kilometers, is very high tech. And believe me, while they may all look the same, it's sort of an engineering feat to figure out how you can make your carriage a little faster, turn a little faster. And I mean, we've got delayed steering and front and rear disc brakes, and it's all kinds of gadgets on these things.
Sort of like Formula One for horses.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how fast can you get one of those things to go?
Exactly.
How fast can you go?
Sometimes a little too fast. Probably the optimum speed is between 16 and 18 kph, which is probably about 14 to 16 miles per hour. That's optimal.
Do the horses ever fight with each other? Like, do they get mad and one want to go fast and one want to go slow? I mean, controlling 4 horses at once seems like a lot.
No, Elizabeth, yeah, they do. Absolutely. They have all, to get 4 horses to work together. And if they don't, they will start fighting.
Wow. You're a brave woman. That's all I have to say. So.
Misty, what breed horses do you use?
I drive Dutch horses, Gelderlanders.
Misty, you had made a really interesting point about mental fitness when you were talking about, women and why there may be a lack of women riders in the sport. And so recently I rode a horse for the first time during COVID. I won't tell you how old I am, but I had never ridden a horse ever in my life. And I always had fear of them. And for me, I was going through a lot emotionally during COVID. And I thought it would be a very good therapeutic thing to do to try to get over some fears and some anxiety. And I have to tell you, it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. It was a wonderful experience. And I just wanted you to talk a little bit more about maybe some things that people can do as far as maybe horseback riding or using it as a form of therapy to kind of get over some of those anxieties and some of those challenges, even in business and life.
There's a very great saying attributed to Winston Churchill that goes, the best thing for the inside of a man or a woman is the outside of a horse. And for me personally, that's, whenever I have a problem to solve or I just need to get away, as you did during COVID, it's like I need to go to the barn. I just need to unattach myself from everything and connect with this incredible animal. And you sort of work that out. And that has been proven true with the incredible success of hippotherapy with children with autism and veterans with PTSD. That therapeutic work with horses has had phenomenal results. And I'm so glad that more and more research is being done on that, and therapeutic riding programs are growing across the country. So the therapeutic value of horses, both mentally and physically, has been proven. They're amazing creatures.
You've been so successful. What do you think you could tell people who are trying to run a successful business or start one?
Again, I will lean on one of my favorite expressions, and I'll give this one to Audrey Hepburn. And it's whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are correct.
I love that. That is excellent. Great. So we've come to the end of this wonderful segment, but we have lots more to go. If anyone's just tuning in, our podcast is out tomorrow, Passage to Profit Show on iHeart. And we also have our social media, which is on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And you can see what we're talking about with the different graphics that we're going to intersperse through the show.
Check out the dog with the watch.
Yeah, check out
He looks like Winston Churchill.
so we'll be right back. You're listening to Passage to Profit, the Inventor Show on WOR 710, the voice of New York.